Their voices are pure. Their laughter is infectious. But South Africa's children struggle. Water isn't clean, and it isn't convenient.
Waiting for 10 years, waiting for water.
Food is scarce,
The need is so high here.
We see kids starving.
and trouble waits around every corner. But listen. It's joy. And it's multiplying because Iowans
I've never seen anything like this.
keep showing up and keep giving. Fresh water,
I'm so very happy.
healthy food,
We'd like to say thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you very much.
and hope that keeps spreading.
I feel like crying.
It's Iowa's impact on South Africa.
If it was not for the people of Iowa, I, for one, wouldn't be who I am.
We're on the other side of the world, but this is Iowa. Our state's generosity on full display when you travel from Iowa to Africa.
This is Iowa, from Iowa to Africa, sponsored by Hy-Vee and Pizza Ranch.
9,000 miles from Des Moines, wildebeest are stretching their legs. Breakfast is cooking over the open flame, and Jacqueline is the lucky one,
Bye, Awa Shalom. Bye, Mtrip.
headed to work. Just past those fish drying on the fence, she has a job,
Not so many people have work here. Yeah.
earning enough money, South African rand, to support her whole family.
I live with my mother, my brother, my two sisters, my nephew, my niece, and my son.
Even the basics here are difficult.
Water currently is one of the hardest challenges that people here in the community face.
In this corner of South Africa, unemployment tops 30%. Corruption runs rampant and infrastructure is primitive. But in this corner of South Africa, you'll also find hope that started arriving from Iowa 25 years ago.
When Jacqueline was just a girl,
He changed my life very much, and he gave me food and everything I need.
14 years ago, this same village threw a party celebrating the help from Iowa that was just starting to make a difference. Jacqueline was there that day, and so were we.
I'm living with my mother, my brother, my sister, and my young sister.
Now that she's 26, that interview hits differently.
Because the story is familiar and it's true. Yeah.
A story that started with an Iowa doctor who moved to South Africa, mobilized our state, and started changing lives.
You know, God calls out to us to help the poor and help the children, and that's been what we have been called to do and what we do.
Everyone here calls Jim Blessman Doc.
I personally thank him so much, and I love him so much, and he knows that. And I can never thank him enough.
Neither can the tribal chief ruling over this entire part of the country.
I also pray when I'm sleeping, praying to God to say, God, please assist this man.
Because that retired pain specialist keeps diagnosing problems and using Iowans to improve lives. Drilling for clean water where women have been walking miles to get it in jugs. Building safe toilets to replace holes in the ground behind daycares. And connecting thousands of schools all over Africa with the brown boxes of food stamped, packed by volunteers in Iowa.
When you start feeding thousands of kids and you just see the need and it's working, it's helping, you can't stop.
Even in retirement.
I'm 81 and I never plan to quit.
But now it's time for the second generation to lead this Urbandale-based organization, Blessman International.
I would have lived a good life in America, but this is where my purpose is.
Doc's son, Dustin, is now in charge of maximizing Iowa's generosity. Here, Pizza Ranch's logos aren't far away from Musco's new lights, and Hy-Vee signs hang from water wells at preschools, daycares, and feeding centers in nearly every village. And the next Iowa connections are ready to take off.
I'm super excited.
I have no idea what even their world looks like.
In mid-January, Des Moines' ticket counter was buzzing. A team of 35 Iowans were on the way, loaded down with suitcases full of supplies and iPads filled with movies.
We've downloaded plenty of viewing material on the tablet, so we should be fine.
Because the trip from Des Moines to Johannesburg crosses 8 time zones, the equator, and 9,000 miles on one of Earth's longest commercial flights. 16 hours after takeoff, between movies and naps, it was sinking in.
I just looked at the map. It shows where we're going, and we're almost over the continent of Africa now.
This trip is a monster, and most of an entire day in economy doesn't lead to many hours sleep.
Maybe 4. 2 meals, 3 movies, a 5-hour nap, and it's still 3 hours until you land.
But that West Des Moines priest and the rest of the Iowans hit the ground in South Africa.
It's nice to have you here. Welcome.
Eager to stretch their legs, find the neighborhood giraffe, and then get to work in the villages where half the kids live with single moms, another quarter don't live with either parent, and love from an Iowa grandma and grandpa
We love you. We want you to know that we came here as we wanted to see you.
is powerful. Kids here know their life is hard.
Life is kind of challenging. It has a lot of crime.
Many bad things like dating with other boys, being involved in drugs, fighting.
But every Iowan who invests the time to show up quickly spots the flip side.
Just the joy that you see in the people, despite the limited resources. It's just a warmth.
Those kids who come from homes without running water, a toilet, or enough food won't stop smiling. And teenagers waiting for their soccer game will just break into song or turn a church service into a dance party. Those kids are why these Iowans are here. The nonprofits who've already delivered 250 million meals to hungry kids at home and abroad are ready to help more.
When you hand this food to these kids and you see how excited they are, you see how much is on their plate and how much they eat, they finish the plate.
The grocery giant that's already helped bring fresh water to 99 villages can't wait for triple digits.
Today, I'll be crying like a little girl when they hit water.
And the Iowa Catholics who say they've circled the globe to be the hands and feet of Jesus.
We come from a place where we take this stuff for granted every day.
So let the work begin.
Still to come, it's time to dig a well. I feel like crying. I'm so very happy.
For 10 years, Lena's been waiting for clean water. The adorable kids in her care need it. The life-changing gift from Iowa to Africa is almost hers. Spend 5 minutes at any daycare in the world, and you'll hear temperamental toddlers wailing. Find sweetness in a before-meal prayer. And catch the class escape artist making a run for it.
We have opened this place on 2014.
Lena opened Majaji Daycare to give all her kids an escape from the realities of this South African village, where streets are mud and food is scarce.
I do this because some of the children, they are running up and down at the street. We just want to stop abuse. Some they are every day up and down with empty stomach. But when they are here, they find breakfast, lunch, and snacked some fruits.
That food, cooking over an open flame in the tin hut out back, came from Iowa. They pass it on their line's way to wash their hands in a bucket, not far from the outhouse. It's the best they can do.
For 10 years now, Lena has been watching those 50 kids every day, scraping by on very little money and no running water. Every drop they use rolls in on the back of a cart.
I found water with some donkeys.
Yes. She said her water comes from donkeys. Whenever her tank out back runs low, Lena calls the neighborhood cart. They show up with donkeys, hauling the water she needs, and a bill for about $20. A huge expense for a small daycare, especially considering the water sloshing around behind those donkeys arrives in jugs that are just plain disgusting. It's not pretty, but it's water.
Human beings have to have water. They will get water somewhere, and the problem as a physician is a lot of the places they get water, it's not hygienic. People will get sick, the babies get diarrhea.
But Hope is pulling up the muddy street, delivering a better way from Iowa.
But now I'm so very happy because today we are going to find some water.
In 2011, executives at Iowa-based Hy-Vee decided it was time to think globally.
Let's make a difference for people's lives, be philanthropic around the world, not just in our marketplace.
Pennies from every water bottle they sell with the One Step logo on it would add up, paying for wells for kids who need them. Even kids 8 time zones away from Hy-Vee's nearest bakery section.
We're helping people that will never set foot in any of our stores.
Because they know there's need at home too, but kids drinking unsafe water?
That's a whole new level of need that I've never seen before in my entire life.
So today, they're helping teach Lena's kids a lesson in the number 100. Because their daycare is getting Iowa's 100th well. 50 of them paid for by Hy-Vee. And Lena can't believe her decade-long wait is almost over.
Waiting for 10 years, waiting for water. I don't know how to describe the way I'm so very happy. But everything from God.
Everything. Even
We are planting kale, I believe, right now.
the garden Iowans are planting around the corner, set up with drip irrigation and a lesson in sustainable agriculture.
And if you teach them how to grow their own vegetables, and then they can start feeding for themselves.
The nutritious variety that'll be harvested for months is part of this deal.
And it's always nice to have a plate of fresh vegetables alongside the meals from the Heartland.
50 feet from Lena's napping kids, the drill keeps plunging deeper, getting closer to that water table until they hit rock.
It's kind of like running a grocery store. It doesn't go smooth, you know? You open the doors, you don't know what's going to happen next.
Switching to the bigger bit only delays the digging a few minutes. They're still confident.
It's going to be a good day. I can feel it.
Even for those neighborhood kids in uniform walking home from school. They don't know it yet, but soon their families will be able to draw water here too, from a tap at the fence.
I think at least 1,000 people in this neighborhood will likely benefit from this well today.
Because moms like Mapula need clean water too.
The situation in my area is poor.
Across town, her neighborhood got a well a few weeks ago. Before that, several times a week, she would fetch water for her family of 5 by pushing a wheelbarrow filled with jugs.
It's too heavy for me to push.
A tough task that takes up to 3 hours round trip.
Yes, I'm getting tired because when I'm starting to move the water, maybe it is 6 o'clock, I will be ending at 9 o'clock.
Sloshing these disgusting jugs she bought secondhand 5 years ago.
I'm getting them from when someone is selling bleach, and that container, after he's selling, then I'm buying that container. Yes.
But today, she's trading those bleach jugs in for new red replacements that arrived from Iowa with a lid.
Yes, because the dirty thing will not enter in the container.
The tap going in closer to home will cut her routine down to a half hour, making life easier along the red, muddy streets she takes home.
Now, my challenge of getting water is I'm not going to struggle. Yes.
It all comes with every well. The garden, the irrigation, the jugs, and the community tap. $12,500 per well. And that water was getting close. But just minutes before Lena's water exploded, they shut it all down. Hy-Vee had a surprise. Another $250,000. Triggering waterworks from the Iowan who started this movement. That check will deliver drinking water to 20,000 more people. Then, 98.5 feet below the surface, they hit it. Those kids celebrating with confetti might be too young to understand how big of a difference today will make, but those Iowans do.
I'm speechless, overwhelmed.
They know dozens of other villages have already been helped, but actually being here?
It's incredible. I mean, watching a video of it is one thing, you know, sitting in your easy chair at home, but when you see it in person, it just takes your mind, or your breath away.
You know, our level of poverty in the United States is certainly great, but then when you see where people are living and that they're drinking dirty water and they don't even have the basic necessity of life, which is water and food, it is emotional.
And life-changing.
I feel like crying. I'm so very happy.
But spend a week here in South Africa and you'll find Iowa's fingerprints on a lot of success stories.
I've never seen anything like this.
The eggs with an Iowa connection, the research farm investing in childhood nutrition, the overflowing churches Iowans have built, and the soccer fields lit by an Iowa company, so kids can build healthy relationships.
All because of the contributions of the people of Iowa.
And then there's all the wildlife.
Really? Going on an African safari is on my bucket list?
We'll soak in the scenery with Africa's stripes and long necks. But next, the battle is on.
Wow, it's a disaster.
And Iowa is in the fight.
I don't think there's anything that can prepare you.
Experience the need and the help from the heartland.
You can see the impact of Iowa right here on the red dirt we're standing in South Africa.
Follow those familiar brown meal boxes from Iowa to Africa next. A half-hour's drive from the nearest village. The lunch ladies at Blinkwater Primary School are on the clock. The morning porridge is ready. Steaming hot bowls of mush left at each desk for Mavis's 23 learners filing in.
They eat breakfast here, then they eat lunch.
But that lunch, already being prepared in the elbow-to-elbow kitchen with its window wide open, is just as important as any class.
Ooh.
Because parents in this part of South Africa cannot afford to buy enough food for their families at home.
They don't have food.
Especially healthy meals.
Wow, it's a disaster. They don't have food. Yes, they are suffering.
So while the open flame crackled, those lunch ladies started cutting open 3 plastic bags filled with rice, vegetables, and protein.
Yeah, they get energy and powers, and then they grow. Yeah, it's healthy for them.
The very same packets that were sealed shut a few months ago, 9,000 miles away in central Iowa. Meals from the heartland. Worldwide, since 2008,
our overall number is 270 million meals.
Iowans have given away 250 million meals to kids like the ones at Mavis's school, facing hunger people back home can't comprehend.
Unfortunately, a child dies every 10 seconds someplace on the globe because of severe malnutrition and starvation.
You see it's a different kind of hunger here than what we see in the States.
20 miles away, in a different South African kitchen, the Iowans behind the meals effort found themselves preparing for 240 kids now on the way.
When it's after school, they come here
to the feeding center where those Iowa leaders became servers.
I'm starting to sweat.
Dishing up these kids' last meal of the day.
Hi there.
At 2:30 in the afternoon.
Because this is what we see every day. We see kids starving. We need those food.
The protein-packed rice from Iowa, served today with beets, potatoes, and an egg.
I'm amazed at how quiet it is. That tells me we've got 200 kids that are just sitting and enjoying the food.
Finishing every bite before cleaning their plate in a bucket and leaving it to dry until tomorrow's meal from the heartland.
In this whole community, there's a lot of struggle. Most of the parents are not working, unemployed.
Iowa's meals have become a generational game changer here. 14 years ago, we visited this same kitchen where Iowans fed 1,000 kids.
This puts a huge perspective on it.
But Jim Blessman believed Iowans could do more In 2012, he told us,
our vision is by a year, at most 2 years, we'll be feeding 10,000 children every day.
14 years later, his son has taken over, and Iowa's generosity has exploded.
So now we're feeding 50,000 children, 3 to 5 meals a week, and that's big thanks to Meals from the Heartland. We couldn't do it without their support.
In this community, the situation's turned around since every kid within walking distance started getting a meal from Iowa every day.
Yes, the kids are so important because these are our future. So they must just eat and then maybe their brains will function very well.
But this neighborhood is just one dot on the hunger map.
So currently we're trying to feed the nation. We have 11 different feeding hubs. Some of them are in neighboring countries.
When Dustin Blessman was growing up in Ankeny, Iowa, he took flying lessons from former KCCI Chief Meteorologist John McLaughlin, who flew all the way to South Africa for this ride.
Oh, it was overwhelming to watch him just push this airplane out of the hangar.
Because 13 years after John gave Dustin his license, the teacher and pilot reunited for a follow-up lesson in logistics.
It takes a huge country and makes it very small.
Meals from the Heartland now provides 7 million meals every year to 11 distribution hubs spread out across this country. That's 8 times larger than Iowa.
Our farthest hub is down in Cape Town, and that's currently a 19.5-hour drive, and we can get there in 6.5 hours in the plane.
To verify those meals are really reaching the kids who need them, and respond to emergencies in remote corners of this country where roads can be dangerous.
By able to, fly right over the top of those mountains or fly in a straight line instead of curvy roads.
Because those lunch ladies in those isolated villages are counting on those boxes marked packaged by volunteers in Iowa.
We need that food. We need that food. It's helping us a lot. Yeah, it's helping us a lot.
By delivering protein, dried vegetables, and hope.
Here's Meals from Des Moines, Iowa, again showing all these people and reminding them that they're important and that they're loved.
Meals and a message, improving millions of lives here.
They're doing it from their pure hearts, and this is why we are so grateful. Yes.
But Meals from the Heartland are only part of the solution.
We're heading to the farm where the veggies are growing and the hens are laying. Thousands and thousands of dozens.
It's all for the daycare.
Ruth's nutritional jackpot that includes so much more than just food. The sustainable game changers from Iowa to Africa, next. It was only 7:30, but the butternut squash was already flying, and Ruth had already been waiting in line for a half hour when her name was called.
My kids are starting from 0 to 3, 3 to 4, 4 to 5 to go to school.
Like every woman here, Ruth operates a creche, a daycare.
I maintain 150-something kids every year.
And on market day, teachers within an hour's drive descend on Blessman International's South African hub for their free monthly allotment of meals from Iowa. English is Ruth's second language, so forgive her.
And they like it too much.
She means her kids like Iowa's meals so much, but they aren't the only draw.
This food is helping too much kids. The kids is fresh. About these kids, fruits, box of rice, butternut, everything.
Ruth's blue car can join the drive-up line for the locally grown jackpot.
Or 80.
That starts with 20 dozen fresh eggs going into her back seat, followed by the second armful of vegetables.
Butternut and spinach, and green pepper. This is big green pepper inside.
It will feed her students for weeks when mixed with 432 meal servings. It's so important.
Too much important. It's important. Too much. The food important. We'd like to say thank you very much. We're helping us because we suffer. Because of Blessman, we are not suffer. Yes. Because of you.
But the jackpot she's driving away with represents just one of the 355 centers here that will feed 17,500 kids because of this one market day.
Thank you.
The happiness on the faces as they load them into their trucks and off they go.
Even in this morning's January rain. It's summertime in the Southern Hemisphere.
They would come regardless of the weather because this is survival.
Doug Meyer's seen farmers markets in Indianola and Des Moines.
Can I help you carry anything to your car? Can I carry it to your car? Yes?
But after shuttling 240 eggs to a teacher's truck and cracking a joke,
So I'm coming over for omelets later. Is that all right?
it hit him.
I've never seen anything like this.
This is not just an opportunity to support local farmers. It's a chance to keep 17,000 kids who would go hungry fed.
We come from a place where we take this stuff for granted every day.
To understand the enormity of this morning, tiptoe around the stack of eggs in the middle of the room.
We're talking short of 100,000 eggs here this morning.
100,000 protein-packed eggs being distributed in 3 hours. Eggs from layers whose great-great-grandparents were born in Iowa and now roost at the South African farm outside of town.
Yeah, it's the Highline Silver.
Highline International in Dallas Center set up Blessman with nearly 5,000 chickens that keep filling up those trays every day. While Pizza Ranch, the chain with restaurants all over Iowa, pays for the feed that keeps those hens laying.
So it will spread the feed evenly.
On a farm that's a far cry from the agriculture we saw starting to take root in 2012.
We have just started it. It's still in its infancy, and it is touching the community a lot.
Back then, Johanni had 2 acres. Now, he has 120 acres and a harvest big enough to feed little kids who need every vegetable he can produce.
Carrots, beetroot, spinach, cabbage.
It's an Iowa-inspired research farm.
Lots of vegetables under greenhouses.
Plus the goat herd growing by the month.
We want to crossbreed so that we keep the strong genes.
A farm where agriculture is taught and the entire harvest is given away.
Equipping the local people with the skills, giving them the food as well. We just need the balance there.
Providing employment in a region where jobs are scarce. You'll find Blessman logos on shirts in the fields and on construction uniforms nearby, where the brick building going up out back is an essential improvement from the hole in the ground next to that toilet paper. Because pit toilets here aren't just disgusting, they're tragic.
And what we're finding is the small young children left unattended will sometimes fall in these holes and drown.
It happened just up the road.
It's incredibly tragic. It's the most horrific thing to think about.
So in the last decade, Iowans have paid local crews to build 350 waterless toilets at schools, creating jobs to drive the economy while keeping kids safe.
Once we see those resources, we'll see a 20-30% increase in attendance the following years.
Most of it paid for by an Iowa scientist and investor from New Sharon, who died with no children of his own. Larry Hull left instructions with his trustee: just help kids who need it.
If we are to solve most of the problems in this world, it has to start with these young people.
The same young people that agronomist serves in his second job.
As the scripture says, men shall not live by bread alone.
Pastor.
Go ye therefore and preach the gospel.
At the overflowing church Blessman International just opened last January.
We're a baby church. We're 1 year old and every seat is full today. It makes my heart so happy. Thank you.
When teenagers start dancing up the aisle, filling the church with praise, you can tell there's joy in this room. Just like there is on the field beyond those donkeys. Where the teenagers singing a cappella are simply a background beat for the game of netball underway in the rain.
This is different for me. I'm trying to figure it out.
Think girls basketball without dribbling, a few feet away from a mini soccer pitch, and the full-size field that's busy all day and all night. Because Musco, the Iowa-based lighting company that lit the White House and the Statue of Liberty, said, We want in too.
This is the only place that has lights. So for them, it's just a dream to play under the lights and so on.
A facility that actually has grass, not mud. So neighborhood kids like Tabiso
Yes, it's making a difference.
will find stability, not trouble.
It literally saves them from going to prison.
It keeps you away from many things.
Life's temptations replaced with a coach and a sense of belonging.
Most of these young boys and girls, they just need someone who can be close to them, who can listen to their cries, who can advise them, who can pray for them and so on.
We are used to coming here. It's our safe place.
A refuge in a remote part of Africa where Iowa's influence is everywhere. Those 350 toilets, the 100,000 eggs, the 7 million meals a year, and even the lights. All because Iowans have been challenged to dream big, which is exactly what Des Moines Fellowship of Christian Athletes leaders are doing in the front row.
We would love to bring college student athletes from Drake, Grandview, and Simpson over here to, number one, see this, to serve, to do some sports camps, but then for them to really help themselves grow by being here.
Dreaming of ways even more Iowans can shine their light around the world.
But you can't come to Africa without experiencing the wildlife and the food. We're eating chicken feet, putting socks on little feet, and standing within feet of incredible African wildlife. Stay with us.
South African sunrises come with surprises right outside your door.
This is amazing. The wildlife.
Like a sable, 20 paces from the Iowans loading up for a day of missions. Staring at a wildebeest around the corner is so much different than watching The Lion King.
It's not the same as when you're looking right out there and I said, oh my gosh, I only see that in pictures in the zoo. And now we're here. This is unbelievable.
Load up, let's go.
But there's work to do.
I got my fuel ready to roll. I needed it.
And the Iowans from Fellowship of Christian Athletes and St. Francis of Assisi Catholic Church in West Des Moines are starting a full day with an hour over potholes before unloading their first gifts of the morning.
That's a heavy one.
For the kids leading each other into the assembly at this area's School for the Blind. Vision may be a challenge at this boarding school, but voices? They are angelic. An early thank you
They did something very great to our school.
for the brand new footwear to come.
We are putting socks and shoes on these kids at the School for the Blind.
My name's Nan, and we are here to get you some new shoes.
Serving these little strangers by washing their feet and wrestling with footwear
Dave's struggling with your sock.
to make it obvious they are loved.
And the best way we can serve is at the bottom, right? We start at probably the dirtiest spot and say, we can love by serving others.
The socks won't go on your feet.
Even
This is the largest size they have. Really?
if the socks
Did they measure them like 2 months ago?
don't fit.
Oh my God! We did it, wait a minute. Yep.
We're exhausted.
You could tell some of the kids felt like saying, just let me do this, Americans. But then, Chris and Rita found the tickle spot,
You're a happy guy.
and everything clicked.
Another satisfied customer.
Because this stop is about more than just replacing worn-out shoes.
My mom bought it for me, my other shoes, so these ones are uncomfortable.
It's about showing love. Just like their next stop
Are you having problems with seeing?
was about more than a West Des Moines retired priest.
This is where we're from, right here in the United States. The state of Iowa, right there.
Can you really see that?
You can't see it.
Doing his best optometrist impression. Father Ray McHenry cannot diagnose glaucoma
Better? No.
or an astigmatism,
Better? Okay.
but he can
That's the one. All right. Very good.
find the inexpensive pair of glasses that brings everything into focus.
Are you having trouble seeing? Yes, when I'm reading. When you're reading, okay. We're going to see if we can help you.
So these women who can't read their books anymore
That one is good? Okay.
get the correction they need. And a hug from Rita. Both are powerful.
And you put the glasses on them, and now they can see distance and trees and limbs
details, and it just changes them. They walk out of here very happy.
Just like the meal they then serve to children, featuring Iowa's meals from the heartland, vegetables, and the treat every kid here loves sucking on. But Father Ray had never dared try.
I've been here 11 times. I've never tried chicken feet.
Real chicken feet.
There's not that much there. There's some here, though.
Fly halfway around the world and many Americans would turn up their nose at the idea of sucking on claws and cartilage. But on a mission to spread joy,
Well, it tastes like chicken.
Father Ray delivered before one more stop at a school where 128 girls packed into a single classroom, sitting on each other's laps.
So first of all, we're going to talk about menstrual cycle.
For a lesson they don't get anywhere else.
And they don't get it from home. And so being able to be here and support them in all of the knowledge that we have and share supplies with them is really incredible.
Because here, when teenage girls get their periods, many stop coming to school.
Some, they'll be shy to go to school because they don't have enough, they don't have something to protect themselves against menstruation.
So after that lesson, every girl in the shoulder-to-shoulder room walks out with a colorful bag, hand-sewn by Central Iowa seamstresses. Inside, they find instructions, underwear their size, and washable pads.
It's reusable, so it's not, creating any trash or anything.
Each and everyone has a goal or a dream to want to be someone else when they grow up. So we always encourage them, if you want to stay in school then and to avoid teenage pregnancy, you need to abstain.
They may not have what we have back west, but they know that they are loved, wanted, supported.
Which was the mission all day long. By the time the sun set,
We had another remarkable day, I think, here in South Africa.
and Father Ray gathered his team around the fireplace,
What were your impressions today? What hit you the most today?
it sank in. What the team from Central Iowa got
The singing at the School of the Blind.
and what they were able to give. The tickles,
He was just out loud laughing.
the life lessons, and the memories, from hugs to chicken feet.
It was not worth the wait.
One day of serving in South Africa. We've got one more stop inside the gates with the rhinos and the hippos.
Yeah, they're slowly coming this way.
And then there's the giraffe.
There's no words to describe it.
Africa's wild side, just a few feet away. Next. Hundreds of Iowans leave their comfort zones every year to help children in Africa who need water, food, and life's other necessities. But travel this far from home and bucket lists beckon from the back of a 10-seater, rolling through that huge gate, keeping Africa's big animals inside. Around the very first corner,
Each and every zebra has a unique pattern.
a 3-hour game drive begins with the zebra, warthogs, and antelope Iowans never see outside a zoo. Here, they're common, triggering fingers on phone cameras. But what's to come is even bigger.
That's a white rhino.
One of Africa's big 5 animals and her curious calf, listening to every word coming from the Americans, who were just a blur to her.
So she can clearly hear us, but then the thing is that she won't really be able to see us clearly.
Pinch me moments were unfolding in the first 15 minutes.
I could leave right now and be more than happy.
But this reserve is as big as Des Moines city limits. And animals hiding in the bush
Masters of camouflage, the kudus.
can pop out around any corner, like the 3 hippos suddenly standing 20 yards to the right.
The mom to the calf, and possible just a young one.
This is very rare. Yeah, it's very special.
But not quite as special as the critically endangered animal that popped up next.
Yeah, they're slowly coming this way.
One of only a few thousand black rhinos in the world, and her sister, the even more rare offspring of a white and a black rhino that mated.
Currently one of one in the whole world.
You want to see them as naturally as you possibly can, and to get that opportunity, just what we've seen so far has been incredible.
For hours, we cruised, at one point zigzagging through the dazzle of zebra, getting out of the way.
You see them in the zoo, but being able to see them in their natural habitat altogether like that is just amazing.
But the driver heard over his radio a few giraffes were gathering in a clearing.
Right there. 2.
There they were, wrestling with their long necks.
So for these two boys, it's more like just being friendly to each other.
Testing their strength while distracting the Iowans from what was approaching from behind.
We saw 2, and then all of a sudden we saw 4, and then they just kept multiplying from there.
They just started coming out of the trees when you were watching, and it was amazing.
4 became 8, and then 13. The Iowans, filling their phone screens with long-necked close-ups, were surrounded by the curious, peaceful African staples, while learning what makes them even quirkier.
The tongue of a fully grown giraffe can be as long as about 45 centimeters.
That's 18 inches. With the engine turned off, the Iowans and the giraffes just stared.
We're, 20 yards maybe from them? So it's kind of amazing to see this in person.
For 3 hours, Africa's wildlife wandered by until, not far from the gate, one final giraffe ended its day wandering right into the picture-perfect African sunset.
Unbelievable that we're actually here in Africa.
A corner of the world where a week's worth of water arrives by donkey cart until that well gets drilled.
It's not going to be difficult because I'm going to buy some food sometimes. I'm going to buy some toys for them.
And those jugs make chores manageable.
Like every day, yes, I'm going to get water.
An area where children routinely face malnourishment until Iowans started sending millions of meals.
They're doing it from their pure hearts, and this is why we are so grateful. Yes.
Where eggs and vegetables that have roots in the Midwest are bringing healthy color to palates at daycares nationwide.
We'd like to say thank you. Thank you for helping us with the food for kids. We say thanks to God bless you. Please, thank you.
And out back, construction jobs are keeping kids safe. Iowans who've circled the earth make sure every child knows they're loved.
Are you getting tickled?
And equipped with the tools to help them succeed and find purpose and safety in a well-lit refuge that's extremely rare.
If it was not for the people of Iowa, I, for one, wouldn't be who I am.
25 years ago, an Iowa doctor showed up here on a mission to heal what he could.
I would wonder if Doc didn't come here, where else they would be.
Because the companies, churches, donors, and volunteers who follow Doc to Africa are transforming lives.
I can tell you that most households are benefiting
from the generosity of Iowa.
Nobody could ever tell me I'm from a flyover state anymore, because you might fly over Iowa, but watch as we're flying out to the rest of the world and serving people and kids. It's an amazing thing.
South Africa is incredibly beautiful in its creatures and its people. And while the challenges are huge, hope keeps growing, led by Iowans determined to change lives. In South Africa with photojournalist Robbie Rissman, I'm Eric Hansen.